Did potential Republican Party nominee Rick Santorum call President Barack Obama a nigger? So there's been quite the hullabaloo on the internet about something that happened during a recent Rick Santorum speech where it seems as if Rick Santorum very nearly called the President of the United States a racial epithet. I'll let you decide.
We know the candidate Barack Obama, what he was like. The anti-war government, America was...
I know I said I'd let you decide, but fuck that shit. I would be out of a job if you motherfuckers could think for yourselves. No offense. Oh god, I'm gonna get downvoted for that. Like, oh, boo. It's a joke. Relax. Re-fucking-lax. Pull the stick out of your ass, unless you like it there. And, you know, I can't blame you if you do. Let me make it clear for you fucks. Rick Santorum did not try to call the president a nigger. He didn't. He tried not to call the president a nigger. And in that regard, he failed. He failed. Sorry, Republicans, but what the fuck do you think he was trying to say? I've heard some people say, well, he was probably trying to say negotiator. Really? Really? You really fucking expect us to believe that he was trying to say negotiator? Okay. Well, aside from them not having identical phonetic beginnings, you know, the syllables aren't exactly the same. Negotiator and nigger, not the same I sound, but whatever, just disregarding that, you know, because we could chalk that up to accent, and, you know, we don't always perfectly enunciate words, that's fine. But if that was the case, why did he stop after the first syllable, look incredibly frightened, and then move on to the next part of the speech entirely?
You know the candidate Barack Obama, what he was like. The anti-war government, America was...
Why would he be like, we gotta stop that nigga, oh, America's prosperous again, and everything's gonna be great, and speech is over now, gotta go. Oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, what did I say that for? Now obviously I'm not suggesting that Rick Santorum like wrote this speech out and included the word nigger, because that's obviously a preposterous hypothesis, but here's what I think happened, or here's something that could have happened. Here's a plausible scenario. Now, even though this scenario is plausible, I'd like to just put it out there that this is pure conjecture on my part and should not be taken as gospel truth or even likely. This is just one possibility that occurred to me. Maybe Rick Santorum was back in the back room with like a couple of his buddies, and he's reading his speech to them, you know, to see how it sounds, you know, when you're speaking out loud, you know, because you write a speech. I'm sure he doesn't write his own speeches because, you know, he's a fucking idiot. But, you know, he had his speechwriter bring it in, and he's reading it out loud to see if it all flows, if it all sounds good. And, you know, he's reading it to his friends, and everyone's bored because the speech is fucking boring. And, you know, just to liven things up, where he's supposed to say, you know, liberal or Marxist or communist or one of the other things the Republicans call the President of the United States, he instead says nigger, you know, as a joke, to make them laugh, because they're white, they're Republican, there's no black people around to judge them, so of course they think it's funny. They're all racists, and they laugh. Okay? Fast forward, you know, an hour or two when Rick is actually giving the speech. His mind is elsewhere. Probably he's thinking about gay sex, because that does seem to be his central preoccupation, and hey, I don't fault him for that. But he's thinking about gay sex, and, you know, hot man-on-man action, you know, that's just, you know, basically there's like a gay porn theater in his head, and it's just, you know, total non-stop gay sex going on behind Rick Santorum's eyes at any point. And you can just look at his eyes and tell that that's what he's thinking about. I mean, let's be honest here. And so his brain is elsewhere when he's reading this speech, and he has a little bit of a brain fart. For a moment there, he thinks he's back in the back room with just his buddies. And he remembers how good he felt after he told that racist joke, and how his friends laughed, and how he felt, he got that rush you get when you make someone laugh. And it's a good feeling, and he wanted that good feeling again, and he wasn't thinking about how the context had changed. And so he started to say the racial joke again, but halfway through he caught himself, and that's why he panicked. That's why he freaked out. If he was just planning to say negotiator or some other harmless word, then he would have just said negotiator. It's not like he just stumbled on a word and then kept going with what he was saying. He totally jumped forward in the speech because he panicked, because he realized what he was about to say. So, did Rick Santorum call President Obama a nigger? In my opinion, yeah.